So when we really start to look into this whole notion of the experience of separation, not the idea of it, not just the concept of it. I'm not talking about a spiritual philosophy about separation. I mean, when you look at the person next to you and you go, that person is essentially different from me. That's them, this is me. That tree over there is totally different than me. These flowers I'm looking up over here, these flowers, I'm not a flower, I'm a human being. And I know that, and I know that that's true. That's what I mean. That illusion, that magic trick, that's what separation is. It's very simple, you see. It's not abstract, it's not philosophical. It's right in the minutiae of human beings' experience, moment to moment, day to day. Very, very simple stuff. Now, of course, I'm not going to suggest that if you look at your body, you're going to look at it and it's going to look like this flower. That would be silly. It's not that you don't see things in a distinct and unique way, in a way that actually even looks separate. But of course, that's part of the deception, is we're so used to perceiving things from a very surface perspective. And we're only used to using the senses we have, sights, hearing, tasting, touching, feeling. We're only used to using our senses in a very, very rudimentary way. Very, very rudimentary. Not deep at all. So we think, for instance, for most people, if they open their eyes, they think my seeing is very separate from my hearing and my feeling and my sense of touch and taste. Right? Seeing is different from all of those. But that's such a surface way to perceive. When you're really seeing deeply, you'll see that all of your senses actually work in harmony. That you actually feel, you can feel what you see. You can sense what you see, and so on. All of your senses can be involved and are involved in all the other senses, if you start to really, really pay attention. But we've even got our senses, the way we sense the world around us, broken off into separation. Mm-hmm. But a very sensitive being doesn't. They all work, each sense is contained within all the others. I won't even try to explain that, it doesn't matter. So how do we pull off this separation? Because usually people are so eager to get past it. They may not even call it separation. They may just say, I just want to feel better. I don't want to feel anxious, or I don't want to feel alienated, or I have this yearning for God and I want to find God, or I want nirvana and I'm looking for nirvana, can you help me? All these are different ways of feeling some amount of separation. So human beings tend to feel very, very separate. And so we usually ask the question, how can I get past this? How can I no longer feel this way? How can I achieve what I want to achieve? How can I get to, spiritually, where I want to get to? Of course, that perception, that way of, that attitude is common. It's natural when we see things as separate. But it's not particularly useful. The best way to feel separate is to try really hard not to feel separate. You ever notice that? It's like, the best way to stay awake is try really hard to go to sleep. Right? Insomniacs are always trying hard to go to sleep and not really getting much sleep. People that sleep well don't have the slightest idea how they sleep well. See? So things actually are often quite counterintuitive of the way we imagine they are. So if we let go of asking, how can I arrive there? How can I get beyond my feeling of separation or isolation? Or how can I find God that I don't know what it is or where it is, or nirvana or whatever? How can I arrive there? If we can let go of looking at the whole dilemma from that vantage point, only then can we actually have any hope of addressing this illusion of separation in an intelligent way. Because only then can we look at how is it being created right now. Not so much how can I get beyond it, but how am I, since it's not really happening, since it's not real, how am I creating it? How am I creating the illusion of it? How am I pulling that off? In other words, how am I unenlightening myself? Does it make sense? Your natural state is enlightenment. Enlightenment isn't a wild, out there experience that only a few people will ever achieve and ever get to. Everybody's enlightened, okay? Enlightenment just is a word for talking about your true nature. Everybody is enlightened. The problem is that almost everybody is in a wild, frantic attempt to unenlighten themselves all the time without even knowing it. So most human beings are unenlightening themselves constantly. Does that make sense? Do you see how different of an approach it is?